What's up? Thank you very much for tuning into the B Minus show. Awesome production here. I know I have awesome lighting. Trying to work on the lighting a little bit, but I'm a little lazy, I guess. But at least I got some content coming for you. Green Cheek Brewery out of Orange, California. This one says it's from Chula Vista, though. Costa Mesa, I'm sorry, but I don't know where they're from. They're from somewhere down south of California. But I scored these bad boys on the trade. I traded some Treehouse Brewing, which I featured on previous videos. This first beer right here I'm going to drink with you is called The Other Brian. This is an 8.5% double dry hop, double IPA. Bam, look how hazy that bad boy is. Bloop. It's a strong beer, but man, it smells like overripe peaches, apricots. I get a little bit of like melon and tropical goodness. I promise all this camera lighting stuff is going to get better. I got myself a 27-inch iMac coming in. Right now I'm doing it on my MacBook Pro through the live studio thing, but I'm probably going to get into the editing stuff. It just takes time. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life, but I know I got to step up my game and do a little more editing. So I just want to say thank you for sticking with me and viewing the tasting of this beer. Look at this. Look how yellow. Look at that thing. Man, let's give it a taste. Just excellent mouthfeel. Very, very rounded out, sweet, yeasty, and fruity. But since I did drink this one for the podcast as well, I have a case or two, 100, 200 bucks, whatever it costs. So you can see the color is very similar here. It's kind of like a yellow orange, has a nice white head. Just a very like tropical fruity smell. So it's very similar to the smell of this, but it doesn't smell like overripe peaches as much. It's more of just a bright like citrus tropical smell. They both kind of have it, but there's little differences that I don't always do my best explaining. But this one has a little bit more of like a tropical fruit smell. This one has more of a overripe peach mango kind of thing going on. But it smells great. This is 8.4% alcohol. I can't even taste any booze, by the way. So if you don't know, a beer that's 8% is pretty heavy. Coors Light, Bud Light, all that stuff's about 4.5%. Coors, the banquet beer, is like the heaviest domestic beer, and that's like 5.3%, I want to say. And you can get pretty jacked up off those like non-light domestic lagers. But this is 8.5% right here, right? 8.4%. So two of these, and they're 16 ounces also. So drinking one of these, you should feel it. This is equivalent probably to like, I want to say about three Bud Lights, maybe 2.5 Coors, something like that. Yeah, just a very well balanced beer right here. It's just balanced. That's the best way to explain it. This is a balanced double dry hop, double IPA. It's the balance comes from like the water profile. It's a soft water profile. It depends on the beer you're looking at, right? Every beer you look at, you want to like look at what category it's in. So there's no official category for like hazy IPAs. There's strong ales and there's strong IPAs, I believe, is another category, but they're very vague because you could be like West Coast IPA, which is going to be a dark brown beer, and it's going to be a little more clear, like Stone IPA, or Stone Ruination is going to be like a double or a triple IPA. They're going to look very different. So there's almost like these unsaid categories that aren't really in the guidelines, the beer judge guidelines and whatnot. So you kind of have to know the style, and a lot of it's personal preference as well, because nothing's documented on what specific beer, in my opinion, should have a soft water profile. That means there's calcium chloride added, minerals to make the water profile softer, kind of drop the alkalinity a little bit. It should finish off yeasty. Should be very fruity. It should be not so bitter at the end. So there's something called IBUs, International Bittering Units. And with these kind of beers, these kind of like hazy beers, the International Bittering Units should be around 20 to 40 IBUs. When you go with like a West Coast IPA, which is the actual category, how it describes, it should be about 80 to 120 IBUs. So that means it's going to be more of a bitter finish. That being said, they use a lot more hops in the dry hopping with these IPAs. Same amount of hops, but they're not going to boil them as long, which means that you're going to get more flavor, more scent out of them, which kind of translates to flavor as well. But it complements the soft water profile, and obviously it's hazy. So the haziness comes from suspended proteins, from grains, adjunct grains such as like oats, flaked barley. Some people use flour. You shouldn't use flour, but and the yeast profile. So the yeast will tend to float around in there more and not sink to the bottom like your West Coast IPAs. So you're not looking for clarification with these kind of beers. Anyways, these are my favorite kind of beers. Obviously, I taste a lot of them on the show. And if you don't drink and you're watching me, I drink this, it does taste as good as my facial expressions are showing. If you've never had this beer before, I definitely recommend Green Cheek. Here are the cans again. Boom. Green Cheek Brewing Company out of SoCal. Kind of hard to get. It's not like the easiest beer. You can't just go to like Safeway or a lot of liquor stores or liquor beer marts where they provide beers. It's really, you can't find it. Maybe in SoCal you can find it like more frequently, but you're not going to find it. I'm here in NorCal, 5 hours from SoCal basically. And I have to like special order it basically, pay a premium. But I hope you enjoyed this tasting. One more last taste. Oh, it's like fruity yeast juice right there. Delicious. Thank you very much for tuning in. B- show. Definitely a lot more tastings coming. I have a ton of beer. I just went crazy over the past couple months. Probably spent around $1,000 on beer. Just beer. So I have tons of beer to taste on the show, just to make sure that I was well stocked, and maybe I taught you something. Take care of yourself, and I'll be back in a few days.